Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video looking at beliefs in society, focusing on the work of Steve Bruce on secularization. Steve Bruce is a key figure in the debate on secularization in society, having written extensively on the topic. He argues that there has been a long-term decline in religious affiliation in Western society and developed a framework for explaining how this dates back to the Protestant Reformation and the Calvinist movement. Drawing on the influence of Max Weber, Bruce has outlined the social and economic changes that have influenced the process of secularization in Western Europe. In Bruce's secularization paradigm, published in 2011, he outlined the three key social changes that occurred with the Protestant Reformation and how these social changes developed over time into further changes and influenced the levels of religious belief in society. Firstly, he examined the growth of individualism as an alternative to the collective ideals of religious practice. Secondly, he looked at the impact of the Protestant work ethic and how this drove economic changes in society. And finally, he examined the development of rationality and how this led to the rejection of faith and the acceptance of science in explaining the problems and issues in modern society. In developing this paradigm, Bruce looked into the development of secularization over hundreds of years, following the three different threads. Firstly, the growth of individualism. With the Protestant Reformation came the loss of collectivism as people moved from Catholicism to Protestantism, which was centred more on the actions of the individual than the collective. As individualism and the privatization of religious functions grew, this led to an increase in the role of commercial organisations, the growth of capitalism, and an increased role for centralised bureaucracy such as the state, which removed some of the functionality of religion and led to schisms in what people believed. As these schisms developed, there was a growth in sects and denomination of churches, all offering alternatives to the one universal truth. As people moved to these sects and schisms, so there was a further loss of solidarity, as people no longer congregated together to worship one universal truth, but rather chose their own belief, thus leading to more individualized belief systems. The second key social change that Bruce identified was the development of the Protestant work ethic. Based on the ideas of Weber, Bruce argued that the Protestant work ethic helped fuel the growth of capitalism, as hard work and investment became seen as virtues in Protestant societies. This investment in turn fueled economic growth and the process of industrialization, which brought with it economic migration to meet the demands of a growing economy. From increased migration, there came greater cultural and religious diversity, thus changing the monopolies of more established religions and leading individuals to question the religious doctrines they had been socialized into. As a result of the economic growth, industrialization and subsequent urbanization of modern society, many of the functions that religion used to perform became privatized, and religion was reduced to having a primary spiritual function, one that was challenged by the growth of rationality. The final social change to consider was the growth of rational thinking. Bruce argued that rational thinking about the world, in part fueled by the idea of God not intervening in the realm of man, led people to discover solutions to problems they had long believed to be a test of faith. The subsequent development of scientific thinking provided many solutions, and with the growth of technology, this led to the development of a technological worldview, one that no longer saw religion as the answer to many of life's questions. Religious doctrine was no longer seen as God's will, but rather the beliefs of the church and based upon ideology and control. Despite evidence of secularization in Western Europe, the process of globalization has revealed that secularization may be confined to those particular societies. With increased fundamentalism in the East and the USA, it is often seen as a Eurocentric view that secularization has taken place. Furthermore, despite a decline in the influence of religion in daily life, it's difficult to measure how much influence religion has in public life, with values associated with religious beliefs still promoted throughout society. Finally, Davie is critical of the view of secularization put forward by Bruce, arguing that it is possible for individuals to still believe without the necessity of attending church services, calling into question how do we measure religious belief in contemporary society. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video looking at beliefs in society, focusing on the work of Bruce on secularization. Thanks for watching.